Hi guys, welcome aboard if you are new, welcome back if you're not, welcome home if that sits just right for you. Today I want to do a kind of a quick reading. I'm just feeling compelled. The topic that I'm being asked to read on today is what am I missing? What am I missing, right? What am I not seeing? What is a message that I'm overlooking, or where am I looking away? So like I said, I don't want it to be long or quick. It's just a simple pick a deck. I've got Tarot by Caro. The artwork is lovely in this deck. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's just lovely, lovely artwork. Of course. That's deck number 1. How does that feel to you? Good? Here's deck number 2. This is the Santa Muerte Tarot. Also absolutely stunning artwork. What do you think of that one? Does that hit home for you today? Yeah. And number 3 is the Moonlight Tarot. Also, again, just a lovely deck. Again, simple artwork. Just beautiful imagery and simple, right? Simple. So, as always, what I would like you to do is to just kind of feel into the deck, see which one feels right for you. And this is that part of the reading where your intuition takes over and you become part of the magic, right? That's the whole point of these pick a card, pick a deck readings, that your intuition is inviting you toward the message that is right for you. So today's message, remember, is what are you missing? What are you not seeing? Which of these decks feels like the right deck to you? Deck number 1, Tarot by Caro. Deck number 2, Santa Muerte. Deck number 3, Moonlight. I will have the timestamps down below. And remember that this is a general reading, so it may not resonate for you. If it doesn't, that's okay. You can listen to one pile, you can listen to 2 piles, you can listen to the whole video. It's entirely up to you. Whatever works, whatever feels best. This is your reading, right? So take just a second and connect with these decks. See which one speaks to you, and I will see you in your reading. All right, pile number 1, Tarot by Caro. Let's get into this and find your insights, find your answers. Again, we're just looking for the answers or insights or messages when it comes to what are you not seeing, right? What might you be looking away from? What might be right in front of you and yet not quite visible? Okay, so we have the 6 of Wands. Strength. Okay, I kind of feel that already. The Hanged Man. Okay, let's keep going. Let's get a few. I see you down there. A few more. The 3 of Cups. Whoa, hello. Thank you. The 9 of Wands. One more. The Emperor. Okay. All right. So let's start here. I think that you have a conviction. And your conviction is that you are correct. And perhaps this conviction is a long-held conviction, or it's a conviction that was passed down to you, right? And what I mean by that is perhaps this is a family tradition or a lifelong routine or a habit that you've had your whole life. And the key here is sometimes we move in specific ways because we have that muscle memory or that emotional muscle memory, or we just have that behavior pattern or the belief that this is the way that we do this thing. And sometimes, right, sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it feels great because it allows us to simply fall back into our routine. It allows us to move without thinking. However, the key here is that if we move without thinking, quite often we keep getting into we end up in the same place. And then we wonder, why do I keep ending up here when I don't really enjoy here? I don't prefer here. I don't love this here place. And then what we have to do is think about why. Why do I keep ending up here? How am I doing that, right? What keeps bringing me back to this same specific place? What keeps recreating this pattern? What keeps recreating this cycle? The answer is, of course, your beliefs, right? And so, we've got the Six of Wands and Strength and the Hanged Man. This is all about the way that you get through your life. However, what you're being asked to do is shift your perspective. Right? Sometimes we get weary, and sometimes we get tired of ending up in that place that we don't prefer, that we don't love, even if it's a place that has brought us joy in the past. Sometimes things don't always update in the way that we would like. Sometimes those old habits and patterns don't serve us, and we have to be unafraid to tackle our inner demons, to shift our perspective, right? To give up the things that are making us tired. There's a beauty in endurance, right? There's a beauty in forming a habit that supports you to the place where you don't have to think about what you're doing, right? We all have familiarity with decision fatigue, right? You've only got a certain amount of decisions that you get to make every day. And so if you can automate some of them, then you can open up your avenues to create bigger places for you to make new decisions, for you to shift and change those patterns. But if you never stop and clear out the automated habits that aren't working for you, right, that wear on you, that people told you were the right thing, and then maybe just don't feel quite right. If we never take those off the table, or if we never take them out of our loop, then we keep getting tired, and we keep getting weary, and we keep thinking, what exactly am I doing that's making my life feel overwhelming to me? What am I doing that's not keeping me in this state of celebration and victory and happiness and joy? What am I being asked to do? I'm being asked to tackle my inner demons, right? This is a cycle of inner shift, right? The Strength card is, how do I have the strength to tackle the things that are wearying me? How can I shift my perspective and move myself out of this, perhaps, let's think about it as maybe even a rut, right? So that rut thinking, again, is a place where decisions are simple, decisions are easy. They're out of your hands. The problem is, if your decisions are out of your hands, so is where you're going. So is your power. So I believe that what you're being asked, pile number 1, is to really evaluate the things that you have on autopilot. And if you don't have things on autopilot, then perhaps the answer is for you to create an evaluation tool for the things that you do on a regular basis, or perhaps even those beliefs that you have that you've not reconsidered, or that you've not considered in a while. Maybe it's just time for you to take stock of what exactly you want. Where are you going? Where do you want to go? And what in your current experience is not in alignment with that trajectory? Okay, so you also have this oracle card here. This is the Dream Thief, and it's refusal of the call. Okay, so let's read this. Yeah, rejection of the path of fulfillment. The dream thief is a soft and compelling seductress. Her only purpose is to keep you hypnotized by comfort and sameness. She wants you to tell your old stories over and over so that you don't evolve beyond them. Ask yourself whether you're reverting back to the familiarity of your origin story of why you were wounded or when you were rejected. Do you talk about how your family molded you as a child without also acknowledging that you've already become someone else? Teaching from an old wound will never allow you a new adventure. Instead, bring to mind how you've already changed, remembering that you have new stories to rely and build upon. Do you want to move beyond the barrier of glass you've placed between you and the horizon? You can, and it's not difficult. Answer the call to a new adventure and drop your resistance to sailing the uncharted seas of your potential. The wind will soothe and sing the dream thief to sleep so that you can wake up and move forward. You are so much more than you know. Now it's time to express what has lain dormant. Your new adventure has already begun. Okay, so I find that to be 100% in line with the message that the tarot gave you. So what are you not seeing? What are you not looking at? The answer is your rut, right? Where you are in zombie mode, right? Where you're just moving forward because moving forward is all you do, or moving forward is all you know, or moving forward is all you've known. And so this is a call to self-examination, pile number 1. So, yes, don't let comfort zone steal your dreams. Right? You have all of this beautiful victory and celebration over here if you're just willing to shift your perspective. So good luck with that. Let me know how that goes. Hit the subscribe button so you can come back and tell me. And good luck. Good luck doing this work, pile number 1. Thanks for listening. Take care. Hey, pile number 2, welcome. Let's get into your reading, remembering that today's topic is what are you not seeing? What are you avoiding looking at? What are you looking away from, perhaps? Because we can be in passive or active ignorance. I'm not calling that ignorance. I'm just saying sometimes we ignore things that are very definitely for us. All right, so you start with the King of Wands. All right, that's some hot energy for you. Pile number 2. The Knight of Swords. All right, thank you. Pile number 3. Card number 3 for pile number 2. I don't know, maybe you have messages in pile number 3 as well. The 5 of Swords. All righty. You have... oh, the Ace of Swords. Okay. Alrighty. You have the World. And finally, there we go. The 9 of Swords. Wow. Okay. So, overthinking much, right? Do we have a voice in our head war going on? Pile number 2. I certainly believe that that might be the case. So let's just start here and say, that's a lot of conflict, right? That's a lot of what keeps you up in the middle of the night. This is a lot of brain at war with itself. This is a lot of ideas and beliefs around conflict or anxiety or stress and those things where your brain is literally just keeping you on the hamster wheel, right? So here's the good news. Pile number 2 is that you not only have the Ace of Swords, but you have the World. You have the Knight of Swords. So this is all about things coming toward you or coming to completion, right? So let's pay attention to the fact that we have this circle here, even in the Nine of Swords, where we are feeling the persecution of our thoughts, right? the unyielding, constant, let's call it chatter, right, from our own subconscious or conscious mind that's giving us the what if, that's giving us the but, that's giving us the how could you have, or why didn't you, all of those things, right? And this Five of Swords is conflict, but you have the Ace of Swords, which is a gift, right? Always given by the universe. We have to receive that gift with gratitude. We have to put it into action, right? So you have the Knight of Swords putting that into action, and the World, which is a card of completion, right? This is a card that says, oh, okay, that's what that cycle was about. Here's the lesson. Look at me putting it into my wheelhouse, literally, putting it into my being, actually creating the integration of it, right? Is it any accident that this Knight of Swords is swallowing his sword, right? Integrating his idea. Very different than being at the business end of these swords over here, or having these driven into our skull here, right? This Ace of Swords is an idea that embeds itself into your conscious mind. The Knight of Swords is an idea that embeds itself into your being. And so as we shift and change our concepts about what beliefs or ideas we have and hold that are persecuting us, right, that are keeping us, I'm going to use a contentious word here, that are keeping us victim to our own ideas or beliefs, right? And I know that there is a hot topic discussion to be had around the word victim. I'm not suggesting that this is an actual victim of, but this is a victim mindset, right? And so what happens when we do the work to heal the wounds, right? These are very real wounds. Swords are sharp and swords are pointy. And when you're on the business end of a sword, right, it leaves a mark. It cuts you open. Absolutely, absolutely every time. But here's the deal. When you can ingest a new idea, when you can pierce your consciousness with a new idea, a new way to perceive this conflict, this argumentativeness, this whatever it was that happened, this self-criticism, this self-doubt, this self-blame, when you can pierce your own consciousness with a new way to manage those thoughts, or a new lexicon in which to process those thoughts, then you get to this learning piece, right? Then we get to this integration piece where these lessons outside you make you absolutely not only believe that you are a victim of something outside you, but they allow you to experience the same kind of and level of pain and loss and betrayal as the fact that not only is this coming at you from outside, but it's also coming at you from inside. So that dual nature of the swords, right? Swords have two edges. They've got two sides to each blade. One is the thing that happens, and one is how you cut yourself with it over and over again, right? The way you allow it to drive itself into you. Now, we also have the King of Wands here. We started with the King of Wands. And the thing about the King of Wands is that he understands where those feelings belong, right? The King of Wands has an absolutely innate sense of what belongs to him and what does not. And so kings have this beautiful discernment energy. And so as we digest all of this woundedness, and also the new ways to shift our perspective around it, right? Yes, these things happened. Yes, I've carried them for years. Yes, they plague me. They plague me. But guess what? What if I changed my experience of them because I changed my perspective on where that blade is lodged? What if I did? Right? What if I shifted that? You don't have to pick that up and run with it, but what if that's what you're missing? What if that's the thing you haven't been seeing? What if this integration is simply a function of discernment, a function of where your heart is in relation to that wound, right? Is this mine? Or was this someone else's unhealed behavior, poor behavior, criminal behavior, unhealthy behavior, right? That simply happened to me on the other side of that sword. And now, in holding on to those things, in letting them literally wound me from the inside over and over and over again, what if I ingested the concept that that never belonged to me to begin with? This is someone else's problem. This is someone else's problem, and I can and I will heal from that. Simply because I'm going to shift where that edge of that sword, of that blade, of that idea is, right? And you're going to use your discernment to do that. And that's what's going to bring you through that wounded cycle into a place of healing, right? So, I believe pile number 2, that what you have not been looking at is your own power. Wow, okay, there we go. We'll just take it. Is your own power. Is the place where you become let's call it the tipping point for an externally based wound versus the continued damage of an internally based wound, right? And so how you're going to find this peace, right? You probably already have it. You probably already have this idea in your experience. Otherwise you wouldn't be, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here listening to this message. So stay open for that. Stay aware to it. And remember that the idea is what needs to shift. That's all. That's all. And then you do the work to heal your backside of the continued carrying, right? The conflict and the anxiety, those have already we've already experienced that, right? In your cycle. You've already lived through the trauma. Carrying it now becomes a choice. Healing it now is also your choice, right? Your discernment is the answer. So let's read our oracle message, right? So this is also lovely. Look at that. It's a beautiful Luna moth. My gorgeous friend Sarah has a penchant for Luna moths. She has a beautiful, I think she has a tattoo too, if I'm not mistaken. I think she just got one recently, so shout out to her. Dances on one foot for a balancing act. Yeah, let's check it out. So this is balancing act, resourcefulness, and saying yes to life. All right. When dances on one foot shows up, you are called to find a new balance. Just as a dancer moves gracefully into each pose, no matter how you precariously balanced a step might seem, you must bring equanimity to a situation before you, no matter how thorny or difficult it seems. Yeah. If you're putting too much effort into managing your life, work, relationship, family, digital media, then you're missing the point. You have to be dancing while juggling your entire life, knowing that at any one time, half of it is going to be up in the air, right? It's not that you're doing too much and find it impossible to catch up. Rather, it's that you're confusing readiness with preparation. You'll never ever be fully prepared for all the challenges in your life, but you can be ready to say yes to a new invitation when the universe offers it. Live in a state of yes to spirit and no to everything that's not infused with life, romance, vitality, and the sacred. You'll be surprised by how quickly your load lightens when you hold true to this lesson. You're challenged now to work with the resources available to you and not be seduced by the belief, if I only had more. Life has provided you with everything you need to accomplish your goals and fulfill your mission. When it feels like you're losing your balance, do not contract, holding your arms close to your chest, for you will fall. Instead, reach out and extend them fully, saying yes to Spirit's steadying hand, right? So we have this extension, right? Both in the Ace and the Knight of Swords, saying yes to those things that want to be infused into your consciousness, right? We're not going to keep in this place of contraction, in this place of closed offness, in this place of being shut out of what wants to come in for you, right? You get to learn this lesson. Pile number 2, you get to learn this lesson and move forward in a big, open, brand new way. So, yeah. Thank you, pile number 2, for showing up, and I wish you good luck. Please hit the subscribe button and come back and tell me all about it. Take care. Hey, pile number 3, welcome. Welcome to your chosen reading. Our topic, of course, today is what are we not seeing? What is it that you're missing, right? And so take a minute. Well, hello. Focus on that. Pile number 2 had the world and also a reference to pile number 3. So maybe give that a listen if you're feeling compelled. You might have some cross messaging going on. You also have the High Priestess. Wow, starting out with 2 wonderful majors here. The 8 of Pentacles. Beautiful. All right. So what is it that you are not seeing? Pile number 3, right? This is always a great question to ask. 4 of Swords. Okay, there we go. Wow. Okay. So let's start off here. Pile number 3 and say, what is it that we're not seeing? Right. What you're not seeing is commitment. Yeah. Engagement. So let's talk about that. So the 8 of Pentacles is about mastery, right? This is about dedication and devotion. It's about the way that we lean in to our craft, to our chosen experience, to what we want to accomplish, what we want to do, right? Pentacles are always that earth energy. So this is, whether it's tangible or intangible, this is the way that we create value and worth in our life, in our experience, in all of those things, right? And so the world is a card of integration, and there's something that you know you need to be doing that you're not doing, right? But you know this, you already know this. Somewhere that you're not in application of your energy, where you're not claiming your lesson, claiming your cycle, claiming that thing that needs integration, right? So you have the King of Cups and the King of Wands down here. So the way that you're really processing with your passion, with your heart, with your experience, somehow you're just sitting on something, and that's okay. I also get the feeling that you've been in a healing mode, right? And so that 4 of Swords is indicative of a time of restoration, a time where we stop and we take stock of where we've been, of what we have lived through, of what we have experienced. And let's face it, the 4 of Swords not only says, wow, that was great, look at all those beautiful, joyful lessons, but it also says, where did we experience loss and betrayal and sadness and heartbreak, and how were we involved in that experience, right? This is the key. How were we involved in that experience? And so as we circle this back to ourselves and our own shadow work, our own stories, asking them, inviting them to be deeply integrated in our own emotional experience so that we can move forward very passionately, right? Very heart-driven and spirit-led, very engaged, right? Face first into life, right? That's what we're looking for. But here's the deal. This has taken time. This has taken perhaps longer than you expected. And perhaps your level of dissociation or disengagement at this point, or just plain old avoidance, has really gotten ahead of the lesson, right? Sometimes we get so habituated to not being engaged in our life that we forget how to re-engage. So I think pile number 3, very, very simply, what you are being asked to do is to devote yourself to yourself. I think you already know where and how to do that. And if you don't, you'll be shown, right? You've got these 2 kings and this beautiful 4 of swords that's really inviting you to look more deeply into this healing process and to look more deeply into your own experience, right? I think you've already lived through the biggest part of your healing experience. Maybe what you're not looking at, pile number 3, is that once you've done that healing, right? We do our healing in private, and then we have to put it to the test in the world, in relationship, because it's beautiful to do your work. It's beautiful to explore your shadow and process your healing, right? That's a great thing. But the only way to put that into, to test that, to make sure that you've learned the lessons correctly, and quite frankly, to keep learning the lessons, to keep moving in toward that right way, is to test it. And the way that we test everything in this lifetime is in relationship. It's just about, where are my boundaries? Are these boundaries healthy for me? Are these emotional boundaries healthy for me? Are these spiritual boundaries healthy for me? And if not, I'm going to go dive back in, and I'm going to hone my trajectory based on where I might re-experience a trigger. And the thing is, that's how we're integrating, right? So I believe, pile number 3, that your lesson right now, what you're not looking at, what you may be looking away from, or what you may be needing to hear right now, is that it's time to re-engage. It's time to test a lesson. It's time to, it's time to kind of step forward and see what life is actually inviting you to do, where life is inviting you to look, to go, to be in engagement, right? So this beautiful card is called the Garden of Venus. It's about rest and renewal. So let's see what it has to say. All right. Self-acceptance, the place of all's well. When the Garden of Venus appears, you are invited, actually summoned, to return to the pleasure garden of love, right? It's time to leave the field of battle. Put your sword away. There is nothing you need to defend anymore. Step through the gate into the garden of earthly delights, right? Re-engage in life. Bask in the joy of wish-fulfilling trees and the scent of healing flowers. You have returned home. You're weary, and it's time to rest and be renewed. Go into this sacred garden alone, as there's no need to be present to experience its pleasures. Really, stop looking for the other. Enter by yourself. Allow your senses to intoxicate you. Leave all thought behind. Lose your analytical mind and return to your body. In the Garden of Venus, there's a still pond that shows you your reflection when you stoop to drink. Who is that staring back at you? Look at who you have become. Rinse your face with those healing waters and practice deep acceptance. Love who you've turned into with all of your imperfections and blemishes. The goddess Venus holds a mirror that allows you to see yourself in all your flawed beauty. Do not be caught in its spell. After a quick glance, take the mirror with you and return to the battlefield that you may reveal to others who they are becoming. And then you will have no need for a sword. Listen. boy, that's some beautiful validation in all three of these today. Pile number 3. Be gentle with yourself, but get back out there. You have healed enough. Now the question is to go test your lessons, right? Show yourself what you have learned, right? This isn't about showing another, by the way. This is about showing yourself. Where are my boundaries? Is it strong enough? Is this the right place, right? We learn what we want by experiencing what we don't and having the wisdom to draw the line in the sand and come back to it over and over and over again, right? That's the 8 of Pentacles. This is devotion and dedication to yourself. Again, we heal in private. We test in public. So whatever is in your heart, whatever is in your soul, put that into motion so that you can determine your own level of integration in whatever lesson you're in. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to put yourself into action, right? You've got this. You've got this, pile number 3. Yeah. Okay, listen. Beautiful message for you. Hit the subscribe button so that you can come back and let me know how this goes. And take care. Big blessings. And thanks for being here today, right? Be blessed.